and thank you for joining us today at Franchise Vibes. It is a new year, it's 2025, and I'm excited to get into it with one of our first videos in January. So today, I'm excited to introduce our guest, who's actually a business coach for DRYmedic. Now, why am I excited about this? Well, let me reintroduce myself. My name is TAMIKA Franklin, and I am your franchise consultant and broker, and I help you own businesses in the franchise industry. I do this by first understanding what your goals are, your transferable skills, your experience, and I take that and make sure that it aligns with different businesses that are in the inventory. So the one thing that I do like to explain is the fact of franchises being a 90% success rate. And the reason for that is because of the systems that they have in place and the support. So today I'm excited for our guest that we have today is Ryan Busman from DRYmedic, who is a business coach. So let's get into it. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So first, Ryan, I would like for introduction, tell us a little bit more about yourself and just share a bit about your journey into the world of franchising and what led you to become a franchise business coach.
So I have a very eclectic background. I've been the VP of sales for a couple different companies. Everything from I started my life in actually trash removal, waste management, and I went from that to trucking, to advertising, to franchise. Then I went to water treatment, then back to water treatment and franchising. So it's kind of an eclectic background, but it really gave me the tools I need to really help my franchises. Everything from a sales background to finance to things you do, how to read people. So all that led up to my journey here. So I've been with 30 brands in DRYmedic since February. And it's I gotta tell you, I'm absolutely loving it.
Awesome, awesome. So how have your experiences in sales and operations shaped your approach to coaching franchisees?
Well, that's a big question. Yeah. So when we're looking when I deal with our franchises on a day-to-day basis, or we meet a new franchise, in every owner is different. So one thing that here at DRYmedic and Authority Brands that we do really well is design the system, kind of around the person. So we have of course we have the SOP, and we have how to do things. But if it was science and you knew if I told you to go A to Z every day and you were a success, everybody could be a success. But it's kind of science plus it's art. So one thing that we really believe in is when we meet someone, and what we do is we kind of work on their strengths and we find out what their background is, and then we help with those strengths, and then we kind of find out their weaknesses and we train out the weaknesses. So that's one thing that works really well for us.
Awesome. So when it comes to defining SMART goals, can you explain the concept of SMART goals and why it's especially important for business owners?
Sure. Yeah, SMART goals. In fact, I just did a training on this late December, in preparation of 2025. So SMART goals, they really have to be S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, relevant, and T, time bound. And if you follow that strategy, you really can build some goals that can really help you propel your business and hit the numbers you want in 2025.
Yes. And, I see you like sometimes I have to stop and say, wait, I have to
I
do the
know.
same
Well, I
thing.
got what are those again?
Like, what was the R again? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I know. Like, what are those again?
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and I also own a virtual assistant company, and
Oh, nice.
I make sure to put that out there and teach
Yeah.
them like this is what we're doing, and everything that we do, we keep in mind. We keep this in mind, the SMART goals in
Mhm.
mind, in everything that we do. So I understand that importance wholeheartedly. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen franchise owners make when setting goals, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah. So I think some of the biggest mistakes we see is owners kind of not following the system or kind of going lone wolf, and they always kind of come back. So we know what works. We know that if you do certain amount of things every single day, that you're going to be a success.
Right.
In things like So in my business, with restoration, we have something I call a restoration roller coaster. So here's what happens was that someone will go out and market and market, and their goal might be to market. They market, and then they get really busy. You know what they do? They stop marketing. And then they worry about hiring, and then they're at the top of that roller coaster, and then they spend 6 or 8 weeks getting those jobs done, and then those jobs are done, then there's no business. Then the roller coaster goes back down. Then they have to market again. Then they worry about hiring, and then they forget about marketing, and then the roller coaster goes back down. So one of our big goals and one of the big things that we do is that you got to continuously be marketing. You got to continuously do a certain amount of things every single day to keep that business level. And if you do that, I always say we always got to be marketing. We're a marketing company that does restoration.
Mm. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes.
So as we head into 2025, well, we're in it now, right?
Yes,
What are
we
some,
are.
yeah. So what are some key areas that owners should focus on when setting their goals?
They have to be very specific. A great example is I got a big push right now for Google reviews.
Mm,
If you get a lot of Google reviews, that it's going to lower your cost to market quite a bit. So when you look at our business, there are different pillars of marketing. One would be digital. Then everything else I call kind of shoe leather marketing. You're out knocking on doors. But if you get if you look at your Google reviews, there are two types of things you do. There's Google review that can be competitive. There's enough Google reviews can be dominant. So a great example, I was just looking at the report for our Phoenix office, that if he gets 7 reviews a month, he would be competitive. But if he gets 50 reviews a month, he would be dominant. So every review that came in to Google, he would get those. So you would think that 15 Google reviews would be easy, but you lose sight. You have to hire, you have to do jobs and things like that. So his goal right now is, hey, you have to get 15 Google reviews a month. You ask every customer you get. You just it has to be part of your culture.
that
Yeah,
makes sense. That
yeah.
makes sense. So what strategies do you recommend for franchisees to ensure they're on track to achieve their goals throughout the year?
You got to visit daily. You got to visit daily. It's got to become part of your culture. So a great example for myself with my franchisees is we recently just split up all of our franchises up into 6 districts. So I have a counterpart is in charge of District 1 and 2, and I have 4, 5, and 6. I want to touch all my franchisees weekly, and
Mm,
when you have 38 people to talk to a week, it can be difficult. So my goal this year is to really improve communication with my franchisees.
mm. So I mean, that's interesting. So not only do you have particular goals for the owners, but hey, you have goals for yourself as far as what
I
you want to
do.
do. So that
Yes.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes. And yeah, because in the franchise world, it's really easy because franchises are all over the country. In our franchisees, after a while, can feel like they're on an island and they're not getting supported. So a couple things I've done is I set up a weekly meeting that we can really kind of communicate. I call it the Restoration Roundtable. So we can kind of discuss what common issues we have. I do training every week. And then also a weekly contact just to make sure that everything is good and let them know that we're here we're here for them.
Mm. So how would you advise owners to prioritize their goals, especially when juggling operational demands and long-term objectives?
So I always start at your finish and work yourself backwards.
Mm,
So I put together something called the progress of my plan. So what we do is that we take your goal and we break it down into manageable steps, kind of bite-sized steps, and then something you need to focus on every single day. And then I don't care if it's daily, every other day, or weekly. You got to visit that, and you got to say, okay, how am I doing on my goal? And I'm a data guy. I went to Michigan State. I recently got my artificial intelligence programming degree from Michigan State just for fun. Yeah, so it's pretty geeky. But as you scale up, you need to build on top of every month, on top of every year, to have your system where you can do what you want, what you can hit your goals.
okay. So let's talk about for new franchise owners.
Mhm.
What are some foundational goals they should set in their first year?
It's all depends on the franchisee. So,
Mm,
like I said, there's not one of our businesses ever been built the same way. We build
right.
off people's strengths and we train out the weaknesses. So I got some franchisees that come from the property manager world. Well, they can build on their relationship with property managers and relationship marketing and build that business. If I have someone that comes from, like, I have a guy who came from used to own a big security company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, security doesn't translate real well, but yet it does because he has those relationships. And he's kind of the backbone of the local community, so he can build on top of that. So what we do is we'll sit down. Let's say if you buy a franchise, I'm going to learn about you. I'm going to learn
Mm-hmm.
about what you like to do, and then we're going to start there, give you a little bit of success, and then I'm going to start pushing you. I'm going to start pushing you in areas that are going to be uncomfortable, and and so we always start where you can get a little bit of success, so you have a base to build off of, and then I'm going to start pushing you a little bit, pushing areas where you're uncomfortable, and kind of expand your horizons. Then I will coach you through that. Okay.
Mm.
So a great example is I used to be in insurance. I had a lady who
Ooh.
came. Yep. Nice. Yeah. So I had a lady who worked for me, and she was an avid quilter. So I said, you like quilting? I'm going to take you to. We went to a couple quilt shops, and one day she made $15,000 in one day. Just in quilt shops and selling insurance. Then I said, guess where we're going tomorrow? We're going to Harley Davidson dealership, and she completely panicked. And she went there, and she was like kind of teary, and they loved her for it. And she made, I think, out of two Harley dealerships, probably another $30,000. So it was
Wow.
really neat because I pushed her in areas which she didn't think she could go. And I've taken that idea to the franchising world, and so I deal franchise. I like to push them in places where they didn't think they could go. And once they see a little success, we build on top of that every single month.
I love that, and I especially love how you put that as far as like you build on the strengths and train on the weaknesses.
Yes.
And a lot of things that you just said actually aligns very much with what it is that I do here as a franchise consultant and
Nice.
broker, because my goals is to understand what your goals are and to understand your transferable skills, your experience, etc., and then tie that to the business. And I also I've done workshops where I talk about transferable skills and taking that type of information and seeing first what industry may make sense for you. And then
Hmm.
from there, you can see the businesses. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff.
And,
So,
and
I'm sorry.
one of the biggest issues I find, especially new owners, is kind of call reluctance. It's really hard to walk into a building, into a business that you don't know anybody. Walk and
Mhm.
say, "Hi, I am Ryan Busman. I own the local DRYmedic. I am here to support you and your customers." And it seems easy, but it's not. There's a lot of anxiety for people to do that. And
Yeah.
in I realize car reluctance and that anxiety is real. So that's something that I'm very open to and talking about it and help and support our people. Let them know that, if you have all this anxiety walking to place, that's okay. That's okay. So what you do is it's kind of that immersion therapy where someone is afraid to fly on a plane. You throw them on a plane and fly them around the world. you know it's kind of the same thing. You're afraid to make a sales call. You know what? I'm going to come down. We're going to do some sales calls together, and we're going to help you do that what you need to do.
Mm. So let's tap into the mindset and motivation. So franchise ownership can be challenging.
Very.
How do you help franchisees stay motivated and maintain a growth mindset?
Okay. It's yeah. So yeah. So I look at cycles. So when a new franchisee starts, I usually get I get three questions. First one is, I'm doing everything right. I'm not seeing the business I thought I would get. Then I get the question, Ryan, I'm so busy now, I don't know what to do. So I get those questions. Usually in about month three, month four, I get that. The third one is okay. Okay, so I'm at this level here in my business. How do I move it to the next step? And I'm all about scalability. And so the first year you're practicing, you're trying, you're putting our system in, and you're making it work for yourself. And then once you figure that out, it's all about just replicating in in month 8, month 18 to month 24, and then just scaling yourself up. In the restoration world, I think they say that the franchise world, the typical franchise is probably not going to be profitable for the first 2 or 3 years. In our business, there's no reason you can't be profitable after the first 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really neat, and I see it every day. We are growing like crazy. I think we have 54 franchises. We'll be at over 100 by the end of the year, or more.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's so much fun to see that progress. Where I get the call. I'm like, what did I do? I can't believe it. I left my corporate job. What did I do? And I say, buddy, it's coming. It's coming. And then they say, I'm doing everything right. No business. I'm only seeing this amount of business. It's coming. It's coming. Then I get that call. I am so busy. I don't know what to do. With this one, you talk about hiring, you talk about scaling, and I'm a firm believer that first year to kind of build a hedge around your cash, use temp labor, use call centers, and we can never miss a call in our business. You can never miss a call. You can't miss a call in your first year.
Coincidentally, I actually have a couple of candidates that that's going to be transitioning from corporate that is currently in the process now, and looking at DRYmedic's. Very excited of being in the process and excited to speaking to some other owners as well.
and you know what? And someone come from the corporate world, it's a mindset. You are used to someone telling you what to do every single day. To you, having to tell yourself what to do every single day.
Yeah.
So here's what I like to do with a new franchisee. I almost treat them like an employee for like the first 6 weeks. These are the things you got to do every single day, and respectively, of course. And then get them into that owner's mindset, because that owner's mindset, once you're in that owner's mindset, it's gold. The fact that that you're building something for your future, your kids' future, something that's going to probably outlast you. When you're long gone, you're going to have this beautiful business you built that's going to outlast you. Whether whether you have ideas to transition that, year 10, I'm going to sell this and make a bunch of money, or I'm going to build this for my family and my kids, and then it's a legacy business. But it's a owner's mindset is something that we have to develop, because you come from the corporate world, you're used to being told what to do every day. You're used to having your expectations set for you. When you're an owner, you have to set those for yourself. And a lot of times that's something that they need help with to help that.
It's definitely an adjustment for that shift. It takes a little bit to kick in. So it's extremely helpful if you actually have someone that understands that and is with you to help you with that shift. I think that's powerful. So can you share any tips on how franchisees can build accountability into their goal setting process?
Share your goals. Share your goals and put yourself out there. Put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to fail at your goals. If you don't fail at your goals, guess what? You're not pushing hard enough. So I like to have I'm a big kind of like a short-term, medium-term, and long-term goal. And if you hit your short-term, you're gonna hit. You want to hit your medium. You're going to hit your long-term goal. So it's all about building a map, a road that you're going to follow every day to get to your destination. Now, your road may go down through a valley and around a lake and to where you got to go. Mine might be this. I want to go to the same place, but my map's going to be different than your map. So part of being a FBC, franchise business coach consultant, is helping you build that roadmap, helping you build a map that you feel is attainable, that you have fun with it. And then once you build your goals, you need to see some early success to kind of keep yourself motivated. So a lot of times we'll set a really easy goal so you can hit it. Then we'll set something a little harder, then you can hit that a little bit harder, because it's all about that mindset and being tenacious and grit. I'm a big grit guy. It's when things get hard, you got to push through. And because every franchise owner, I don't care what business is, they're going to hit the wall and say, what was I thinking? What did I do? And I tell every franchise owner, when you hit that, call me. Call me
Oh,
because I will walk you through that. And I get those calls with the new franchise owner. It's usually
mhm.
about week 3, week 4. What did I do? You know, I love this push job. What did I do? And they'll like say, okay. And then you got to remind them, why did you do this? Well,
Mhm.
because the corporate world's not that much fun, or I came to this horrible job, or I wanted to build something for my family. I wanted to own something that's mine. And then you remind them of that, and then you kind of get over that hump, and then and then the next time it comes, it's not quite as dramatic, and then then they start seeing success, and it's a sweet, wonderful transition when you see it.
Yeah, I think that holds true for all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You
Oh no.
know,
I
that's
showed
just
insurance agency. I think every 3 months I hit that wall. What did I do?
so as we look to wrap it up,
Mhm.
um, if you could give one piece of advice to a franchise owner about setting goals for 2025, what would it be?
Break it down into baby steps. Break it down into minimum things you got to do every single day.
Mm,
So for myself, I have a list of 6 things I got to do every single day, no matter what. I don't care if I have the flu, I got to do these 6 things every single day. And that's going to make me a success. And then so I don't know if you've ever heard the story about the race to the South Pole.
mm-mm,
Okay, so there were 2 teams. There was a British team and a Norwegian team, race to the South Pole. So the British team said, you know what? When the sun is good, we're going to go as far as we could. Keep in mind, it was 1,800 miles. So some days they would go as much as 190 or 90 to 100 miles in one day. Well, the Norwegian team said, we're going to go X amount of miles every single day, and then we're going to camp, and we're going to go, I think it was 20 miles a day and just stop, 20 miles a day and just stop. Keep in mind, the Norwegian team got there a month ahead of the British team. The Norwegian team had no deaths at all. They kept in the British team, almost everybody dead on the British team. So it's a testament to doing a certain amount of core things you got to do every single day. Get those things done every single day that you have to do, and
mm.
that's your basis. So let's say if I need to constantly be hiring, I need to look at 3 resumes a day. I need to have 12 to 14, prospects, contacts a day, whether that's email or phone call or knocking on doors. So there are certain core things you got to do every single day to hit your goals.
Mm.
Break those down and do those every single day, and you're going to be just fine.
I love it. I mean, I might have to take some notes for myself.
Yes, it's those little baby steps.
Yeah, I
You
really
know,
like that. But Ryan, this was great. Thank you so
I
much.
really enjoyed this.
Yes, thank you for sharing this information. And guys, as you know, if you are interested in any of the brands that we highlight here on Franchise Vibes, and you like to know more about this particular brand, feel free to reach out. But until then, until the next video, thank you guys. And thank you, Ryan, for joining
So
us.
yeah, thank you so much.
All right, take care.
I'm feeling the vibe.
I love that.